Oh, hey.
Great to see you, ladies.
Great.
Great.
Just great. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good, good.
Yeah, I knew that we were very excited to see one another last week because our show was like 49 minutes.
And most of it was just, oh my gosh, how was your trip?
Yeah, so to anyone who's listening and or watching, we appreciate you hanging in for the almost extended version or the actual extended remix version.
The remix.
And we're going down to 30 minutes this week.
Yeah, we're going to get things in line. Don't worry. Don't worry. We know what we're doing, okay?
Yeah. We like to believe we do.
Yeah, we like to believe that a lot. So we're all good and we're good to go, and some fun stuff to get to today with regard to what some of our favorite 90s names are up to. And speaking of names, if I were just to say Denzel is going to get, the armor treatment, you'd know exactly who I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because it's Denzel. He's a one-name wonder. Denzel Miller,
of
course.
Shirt. One name wonder.
The one and only Denzel Miller.
Denzel Miller. He's super, super hardcore. Denzel Miller from accounting. We're going to tell you which OG Latina is getting honored. And also there's news from George Michael's longtime physician / friend who says that maybe George knew he was going to die.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of big stuff. I figured we should start there because there's no shortage of moments where you see George Michael's name, as in being on the fan vote list for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and getting a lot of votes.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, man, I miss that guy. So this doctor alluded to a few things about the last appointment that he had with George Michael, and that he had a sparkle in his eye. And he said, he went on to say that sometimes people know that their number's up and they just have a peacefulness about them. And maybe that was the case for George. There's a lot of this article that I did not like.
Is that, so you said it was his friend or only his
physician
doctor?
Well, he's been going to him for 26 years, right, Kel?
Mm-hmm.
But once a year or every other week?
Good question. I
Good
don't
question.
think he didn't get into details about how often he went, but he said
because I've known my doctor 10 years and I wouldn't say she's my friend.
No. And what did he see?
She puts on that rubber glove, Adam?
Yeah.
Not yet. We didn't go there yet.
10 years.
Coming
She has
for
to be
you,
a
Adam.
really good. You have to be a really good friend for the sound. This guy went on to say, well, he said he established sort of some history in that he was introduced to him by the singer of Spandau Ballet, Martin Kamp, and he referred to him also ribbing George at one of the last appointments or meetings that they had about having put on some weight, which I thought, I don't know if George Michael was happy about putting on weight, because sometimes you put on weight when you're not happy. Sometimes you put on weight when you are happy too. That's true. But he said he said there was a bit of an Elvis vibe going on. I'm like, Elvis was not happy at the end either.
And or healthy.
And or healthy, exactly.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that part because it felt sort of like almost too inside, but not inside enough,
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't like that he said he would make fun because knowing that we all know from whatever thing you've seen, George was always concerned, it sounds like, of his weight at some level.
And I felt I was sort of analyzing, why don't I like it? I don't know George Michael, but I felt protective of him almost,
Yeah, well, did you remember when he did pass away? They showed pictures in certain publications, kind of the last time they saw George or whatever.
Yeah.
It was these really not very well lit shots because I think he'd been in a restaurant. And so you only really saw silhouettes and all that stuff. But yeah, he looked way bigger than we would have seen him. The last time I think I actually saw him really was when he was doing some of his Symphonica stuff, on
right.
And then I think the last time I really saw him speak was when he had that health scare, the massive health scare in 2011, and then got out of the hospital and did a little impromptu press conference, on the lawn or whatever, talking about how he was super grateful to come through. And then, I would have seen him, I guess, too, when he performed White Line at the 2012 Olympics.
Okay, so all you said was before 2012?
What do you mean?
You mean the accident, was that before 2012?
His accident, yeah, was 2011. I think it was tail end of 2010, 2011. And then he spent how long, Sharon? Like a long time trying to recover, right? From that pneumonia
Mhm.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That lasted a while.
And so,
He
but that was
passed
like the
away-
last,
he
like
passed away in
2012, I guess to
2015?
me was the last time I saw George, I think, like live on stage at the Olympics. And then I think, again, I saw some YouTube videos of Symphonica. But then, yeah, sometime between 2012 and 2016, he put on that added weight. And then, yeah, did not look healthy in those badly shot photos.
And 4
And that-
years is a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Mhm.
you know, those pictures have no real commitment to actually making you look good, obviously.
Yeah.
And almost the worse you look, the better for them,
Yeah.
because it sells more rags.
Yeah.
And you know, I think ultimately the reason why at least I don't like it is because it doesn't change the fact that he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of like when it comes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm kind of coming around to the idea that everybody will get in, meaning I don't take away anybody's desire to get in or eligibility to be acknowledged in that way. I think that they probably should amend the name of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just because of how they maintained a focus of rock for so long. And then it just seemed that once management or once the board changed, the operating board changed, that everybody's in. Do you know what I mean? And it went from, you know, how come, you know, like Dionne Warwick thinking she should get in. And again, no offense to her. She's fantastic. She's got such a place in music history, but does she have a place in rock history? Do you know what I mean? It brings on those conversations. But at the same time, I'm happy that George Michael is getting the attention that he's getting at this time.
I love George.
I love George.
love you, George.
And as we've discussed before, I literally miss him. Like there's really not many artists I think, like, well, first of all, in my feelings and opinions, like I don't miss artists like I miss George. Like I really miss him. Think it's a travesty that he's not recording anything right now.
Yeah, because he would have, you know, if everything was, you know, in an ideal world, he would have, you know, sang into his later years and would have sounded
He would have been
great.
such a stud muffin in his 70s.
Oh my gosh. You think of like Tony Bennett and how smooth he has always been. And I think George would have been in that category.
Love George.
R.I.P. George. So let's brighten the mood a bit and get into some trivia. How about that?
Let's do it.
I'm down.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
It's interesting, Sharon, that you said, like, let's get into a better mood. I'm not sure you guys will, because in case you get these wrong.
Yeah, good point. Used to be
One
fun.
of us is getting in.
I'll be in a great
better
mood,
mood.
don't you worry. So we'll start with the tough one first, which is art and literature.
Oh no.
Literature.
Yeah.
Literature.
In which
Yeah.
year did Tony Kushner's play Angels in America make its Broadway debut?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
1997.
No, but you looked thoughtful and pained all at the same time.
And confident, right?
Yeah.
And wrong, ultimately.
I have no idea, but for the sake of it, Sharon thinks it's in the late 90s, so I'll go with 1999.
Incorrect. 1993.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo, the Angels.
Boo.
We'll see if Rachel, because Rachel always like tries hard to get the trivia, so we'll see what she comes up with.
Go
By the
get it, Rachel.
Poor Rachel, just quick sidebar. So you know how we talked last week about Hugh Grant, and I was very upset about how he handled Ashley Graham.
Yep.
Rachel actually wrote that North Americans or Americans, I can't remember how she phrased it, that we don't understand his humor. And he's just like that, and it doesn't mean anything. So I think that's hilarious.
I appreciate his crustiness. I think he had a little extra crust on his crusty.
Yeah. Well, I really like, you know, and Rachel sort of mentioned that she was asking fluffy questions, Ashley, but like that is the role of the red carpet. Like they're not asking you,
Right.
You know, world peace questions. So
Thank goodness.
and I just think he was like, I personally don't think I just think he was being nasty to her. Like, you know, curmudgeonly, I guess is the better way to say it. And I really didn't like when he shook his head at her. So like
Mhm.
not having it. But Rachel, love you. All right. Pop culture question. Here we go. Which fast food chain had the quote kids club?
Sharon,
Sharon. Okay. Sharon, go.
McDonald's,
You look pained and thoughtful all at the same.
and I just don't want to be wrong.
Right. You're wrong. Adam.
Ah!
I'm so glad you're wrong because I was going for. Burger King had the
Burger
Kid
King
Club.
it is, little Adam.
Yay.
Ah. I don't remember the kids club though. Like what?
There,
what
but were they still doing the thing, Adam, when you were little? Because I know when I was a kid, they were still doing like you could go to Burger King and get the fake paper hat thing, like the king hat, the
Oh
crown.
yeah.
Truth be told, I think I've been to Burger King twice in my Like I remember when I was young, I remember going once and I was like, oh my God, I've never been to Burger King. This is the first time we're always at McDonald's and now we're at Burger King. And I probably went another time, but yeah.
So funny story. Last year, because we do this thing with my nieces and my nephew that when it's their birthday, they get their birthday money, they get their birthday card, and then they get a day or like several hours out with Auntie Elaine and Auntie Kiki, which is like an activity and like supper.
Do they get to pick what they do, or do you force them to
No,
do
they pick it.
it.
But it's funny that Sharon would say that because she knows the control freak that I am. But no,
Come on, we're going to have some organized happiness.
yes. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I help steer the ship if I feel there is dissension in the ranks. I start to steer the ship. But anyways, he goes to me, Tyson. Last year, he goes. He's like, Kiki, can we go to Burger King? And I was like, sure. But then there is no Burger King in my area anymore. Like there used to be one and it's gone. So so Auntie Elaine and I looked and we found one 30 minutes from us. Oh, actually more like 35 in St. Jerome. And I know that you two will know where that is.
I know where it is.
And this was still during COVID times, of course. So because we did find also one in Laval, which again, kind of that 25, 30-minute mark for us. The one in Laval seemed to say that the dining room wasn't open still. So like we were like, okay, we can't go there. And dining room is a lofty term for
Yes, it's a big stretch.
yeah. So, but the dining room at the St. Jerome one was supposed to be open. So we haul butt over there, and we get there, fair May, and so which is
Oh
closed.
no.
So Tyson goes, well. Like, and I should say it was open, but only for drive-through pickup, right? So no dining room experience. And again, I use that lightly. So he's like, well, I guess we'll just go to McDonald's. And I'm like, I have 2 McDonald's 12 minutes from my house.
We're going back.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map. I'm looking at the map of where the Burger King is, and good news, the McDonald's was literally next door.
Which we did go to, was the McDonald's next door. But anyways, that's my fun story. So I've not been, I think, to Burger King also in 12 years. So.
Wow. Burger King, I don't remember last time I went, though I do remember one time going on it was a stagette, like a bachelorette party.
Is it called stagette?
And back then it was called that, yeah.
Huh.
The ultimate was that she was the bachelorette, and it was a party for her to, you know, have one last hurrah before she became the old ball and chain. So this was the night that we did upside down flaming sambuca shots at the bar.
Wow.
Which, if you're unaware of what that is, it means you sit at the bar with your back toward the bar, then you lie back, then the bartender pours sambuca in your mouth, sets it on fire, and then taps your forehead to close your mouth. And that's upside down flaming sambuca shot. So he lights it on fire, you close your mouth, you sit up, you swallow the warmed liqueur.
I would love to do that.
It's life affirming because there's fire shooting out of your mouth. And this is not a decision that you've made, you know, before having a few drinks.
It just happens.
It's after a few drinks and you're like, yeah, let's do that.
You know, whenever I do something a bit crazy, I'm always like, you just got to trust the professionals. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But if it's 2 a.m. in a bar.
Yeah. Well, we ended up at Burger King after that. So
And how'd that go, Sharon?
Well, at a certain point in a night like that, you're less picky about what's gonna fill your belly.
How was the dining room?
The dining room was exquisite.
I love it. I love it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, the
Good
sordid
decisions made at the
past.
bar, Sharon. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, I was listening to and maybe you know this because you had told me several years ago you have a few tattoos on
Mhm.
your person. And didn't you tell me that you ended up getting was it nauseous or weak at some point because like when he was
Because I didn't eat.
right.
I was last in the group to go, and I didn't have any sustenance. Like, we started there at 4 p.m, and by the time it was my turn, it was like 7:45 p.m.
Mhm.
So swept right through dinner. All I had was water, and so we had to get crackers in.
Because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about it was actually with AJ McLean and Lance Bass, and they were talking about when AJ went to go get some tattoos and or a tattoo that time, but he was with two other people, and the two other people ended up needing that when the tattoo artist showed up, he had brought these like sugar pills or sugar cubes, and apparently that's a thing because oftentimes when people get tattoos, their blood sugar drops or something.
Yeah,
I guess
makes
because you're
sense.
being like
Cut.
so he's like he didn't need them, but both of his friends needed these sugar pills so that they didn't like pass out or whatever. So I thought of you immediately.
I could have used it. I could have used
Totally happened to me once. I was given like an apple juice.
Mm-hmm.
That was I stood up from the chair, and like I felt my whole body fall.
Yeah.
I fell back down on the chair, and somebody helped me. But yeah,
It's an awful feeling
Mhm.
because otherwise you got your faculties and everything's fine, but physically you're like, your body's going, no.
Yep.
Physically your body's giving you the crystal waters. Nope.
Back to you, Sharon.
All right, so it's a big felicidades to Gloria Estefan. That's congratulations on Espanol, by the way. Felicidades to Gloria Estefan, because she's going to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in June.
Bravo.
So what's really cool is that she's the first Latina female to be inducted.
Amazing.
Totally. Like, she's got everything else. She's got the Grammys. She got the Kennedy Center Honor. She got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She's got the glory of sitting on top of the charts on a number of occasions with a bunch of our favorite songs. And now this. It's a very, very cool and humble. Come on, we're talking about Gloria Estefan. She is the person that when asked, why do you think it took so long? That she would respond, well, every year they take only 5 or 6 people and there's so many incredible artists.
She has a point.
Yeah. So like, it has nothing to do with, I should have been in sooner. It's none of that. She's just, hey, this is it. And she's happy to be in. Now, what's also cool about her and the Miami Sound Machine is that when she joined the band, they were just doing straight up Latin stuff. So she brought that pop angle to it, and man, oh man, did that work, right?
That they have one of the coolest names ever, like Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. It's like boom, boom.
And it works, like, you're going to get that experience of complete Miami, like, Latino, just fun. It's really fun. And I've been to Miami. Kelly, you've been to Miami, have you not?
I've been nearby.
Adam, have you been to Miami?
I still need to go there.
You do need to go there because it's beautiful, but also because she's got a restaurant there.
Oh, is it called Estefan's?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's called Estefan's Kitchen.
Yes. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had mojitos there. Also very good. A lot of
all you
this
had at the
podcast is
restaurant?
about alcohol. No, we had food too. There was food, I guess, but the mojitos.
Did you have your favorite mahi mahi, Sharon?
The fish so nice they named it twice.
Yeah. It's just because one time you said that your better half decided to eat mahi mahi before getting on a plane.
At the end of our last day, and it was in Miami, and we went to this kind of a diner place, a really upscale diner, but she's like, I'm gonna have the mahi mahi. I'm like, interesting choice. Fast forward to end of the day where she was not feeling good at all. And I sound like I'm giving an I told you so tone. because I am, but
Yeah.
she was super sick and we had to fly. So it was not good.
Oh my God.
Don't have the mahi on flight day.
Gloria Estefan is reported to be worth $500 million.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she has serious. They almost, remember, Sharon, they almost bought the Miami Dolphins, I think it was.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
her and her husband. So they have interests, I think, in many different areas that they use their entertainment money to build up in. Like, I think they're into real estate also. So that 500 million does not surprise me at all. Zero. Like, her and her husband have been very smart with their money, from what I gather.
Good for them.
Yeah. Really cool. And her daughter sings too, right? Her daughter. Their
Yeah,
daughter
why am I
sings.
forgetting? And the kid's name, if first of all, she had her son, whose name also escapes me, but he was like older, and then the daughter was like I don't know if the daughter's 5 or 6 years younger, or even 7, 8 from the son. There was a big difference.
Yeah.
And I believe also that her daughter belongs to our team.
Really?
Yeah.
Well then.
What team is that, Sharon?
The gays? Is
The
that what you're saying?
The Mahi Mahi gays.
Emily Estefan. She was born in 1994. So
Can you
she's
Wow.
see when their
28
son
years
was-
old.
When was her son born?
Let me hit back. Let me go on Naib Estefan. I believe
Yeah.
that's how we might pronounce his name. Oh, he looks older. Yeah, he's 42 years old.
Yeah.
So he was
So
born in 1980.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
he's
knew there was a
14
huge,
years older. Holy
yeah, there we
moly.
go. I knew there was a huge difference. Yeah.
Yep.
Wowza.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I want
Wow.
to say that Emily either came out or discussed her coming out on, remember when they had their own Red Table Talk, the Estefan Red Table Talk or something?
With
With
Jada?
their own, like, yeah, like, you know how Jada has Red Table Talk? Like, they had the Estefan version or something.
Oh, I see. No, I don't.
I don't know. I
think I did
don't
watch that.
know that that's still going, actually, but they had it. And I'm pretty sure Emily discussed her coming out story there. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how to get out of that conversation without being clunky, but
Sharon.
I'll just go. I'll
Do
say
it.
this: Denzel,
Denzel Miller.
Denzel, my safe word, Denzel Washington, like because everybody knows you just know it's him. Anyways, to be sure, Denzel Washington has got some plans for his next film. At this point, he's still in conversation, still in talks about starring in the sequel to Gladiator 2. So, sidebar, there's still some time to work on that title. It would be directed by Ridley Scott. And what's cool is that Denzel has done a few films with Ridley Scott's late brother, Tony. So there's probably some connection already there. So hopefully the conversations will go well and we'll get to see a really cool movie with gladiators and Denzel. What do you think about that?
Did you watch the original? That was a 2000 with Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, and there's weird storylines. I mean, that time in history is a bit weird.
Well, and Joaquin Phoenix was in that also, remember?
Was he?
Yes. Well, and he had like a sexual relationship with his sister.
Yeah.
That's
That
what I
was
mean by weird.
Sorry, Sharon. That's Game of Thrones. Wrong thing.
That was the original Game of Thrones. But it was funny because I think, and I'm not sure if it's in the article I sent you, but when I spoke about this on the air on my show, I think I remember saying that I knew it came out in 2000, and I think it was something like it brought in 430 or 450 million worldwide, which
Wow.
seems low even for the time, because it was a really good movie and it was a blockbuster, right?
Mhm.
So, but I really liked it.
It also won Best Picture.
Didn't it? It won 5 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
I think it was up for 9. It won 5 of them. So
It's very good.
yeah, it was very good. And like Russell Crowe was in such amazing shape for that. It was like bananas.
But the money, that amount of money for that time is a lot. I mean, it's still a
It's
lot
true.
now, but like by those standards, it's quite a lot.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. But it was they must have spent a bucket load of money on it too to get it produced, right? So because like they had all those like costumes, like those, you know, of the gladiator era or whatever. So
Cod pieces and stuff.
that's a lot.
Depending on who you are, it's a lot. Sometimes
That
it's not a lot.
reconfirms my situation in life.
You need a cod, bless you, Adam. You need a cod
Thank
piece
you.
to minimize the chafing. You don't want chafing to wreck your gladiator game. Okay. If there's any takeaway from this show, You don't want chafing to take away from your gladiator game. Who's tired? Anyone?
Yeah.
Woo! Who needs
Karen,
a nappy?
Clip of the week for this week on 90s now.
All right, you guys. Now that we're getting to know each other, how about we do a 90s rewind?
Let's
I
do
think
it.
it's about time.
We'll go back to the year that Emily Estefan was born, 1994.
I would rather that year be referred to the year I was born, but okay.
Okay, well, we'll go back to the year that our mighty Adam was born,
Thank you, wow.
1994. Spring was springing, and the music, oh my God, it was good. Toni Braxton, come on. Toni Braxton talking herself out of another one, right? Another tough situation. Breathe Again is the song. Some sound advice. Breathe again. Just
That
good.
to help alleviate the chafing.
Just keep breathing. Breathe through it. Breathing and powder.
Yeah.
Harder to find Johnson & Johnson powder in gladiator times. But again, I digress. How about this then? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. They had released a greatest hits CD and a couple of new songs on it, which was really cool, right? We love that about greatest hits. You get, a couple of new songs. And then fun fact, one of those songs is Mary Jane's Last Dance, would become another huge hit for them. And a fun video of, Dancing with a Corpse.
Or that.
I mean, it's 1994 was a complicated time.
Yeah.
And the combo that kept on giving had the intro to Snoop Dogg going doggy style, Alive was Gin and Juice. See?
I can hear it in my head.
As soon as the hands go up in the air and you're waving around like you just don't care, that's success.
Yeah.
Tevin Campbell's sweet voice was all over the radio with I'm Ready, which was the title track to his second album. At that point, he was 17 years old.
What a cutie patootie.
His voice was just so perfect. And our girl Cece Peniston.
Ooh.
I know. I'm in the mood from Thought You Knew.
Nice.
Oh, I love it. I was listening to that before. I was like, yeah, that's a shoulder shimmy. I am into it kind of song.
Yep.
And that's your 90s rewind.
Nice. Thank you.
Some listener mail. We got a message from our favorite dude from New Zealand, Ginger Bear.
Ginge.
Hey,
And
Jen.
so he had a message for Adam that said, watching Adam on last week's episode with Adam having his pen on his arm. I think you were doing this type of thing, Adam, where you were like,
Really? I had a weird tick where I was.
yeah, so you were doing that. I'll say that he thought it was very exciting that you were doing that maneuver. So Adam, you're a stud muffin. You have to watch what you do on this show.
It's out there. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
I will be. You'll see me be more disciplined.
Yeah. Well, and then overall, some messages from the peeps saying how happy they were to have us back from vacation and causing trouble once again. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice.
I've found a famous lookalike for Adam. If you grew your hair a little bit, Adam,
I'm doing it at the moment.
well, you could end up looking
slowly.
like.
It's been 2 months. I'm trying to, have a little more, but
Okay, well, keep it growing long in the back,
okay.
and you could end up looking like Dan Fogelberg.
Is that like okay? I'm gonna
Look at that.
Look at him.
Adam, do you see that?
No, because no, I can't. Move it to your right. Move your phone to your right. There you go. Huh. Okay, it needs to be a lot longer.
I
If
know.
Adam does that, he's gonna look like Jesus.
Jesus.
I had
or Dan Fogelberg.
Or
Either
Dan
one. They're
Fogelberg.
interchangeable.
I was FaceTiming my mother the other day, and I had a hoodie on, and she went, "Oh, you look like Jesus."
Well,
I didn't know that was well, it was a compliment, but
Jesus in a
I was
hoodie.
like, I don't see it.
Jesus on Casual Friday.
you should show up to our house like that on Easter, Adam.
Because Good Friday
should.
wasn't that good for Jesus.
Yeah.
Casual Friday better.
I'll make sure I show up on Sunday, not Friday. We'll be okay.
Really, we have covered a lot today. And
In the allotted time, though.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for coming along for the ride, you guys. We appreciate we appreciate the feedback. So keep the mail coming. Any questions at any time, we may have answers. And if we don't have actual factual answers, we will make them up.
Yeah,
And they will be good.
we're good at that.
So remember, powder for the chafing, watch your codpiece, and Jesus and Dan Fogelberg are long lost relatives of our mighty Adam. And that's it.
That sums it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And thank you for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.